Welcome back to a brand new episode of TLR, episode 58. We're almost 60 years old here on Twitter, on YouTube, and Twitter, I guess, because we're shown there as well.
Or everywhere.
But yeah, we're here day after Christmas, hard at work as always. Not really work though, right, Issa?
Now, today we're gonna chill. We're gonna talk about the big things that happened this year. But first, I hope everybody see people piling into the chat. Yourself, by the way, blue is your color. I told you before we went on the air, but I love it. I want to see you in nothing but blue at the Royal Rumble weekend. Anyway,
All right.
I hope everybody had an amazing Christmas. And Joey, I'm so happy to be talking to you again.
I am so glad to be here with you as well. Holiday season, it feels like it came and gone really, really fast. Like it was just Thanksgiving, but before that it was just like July. Now we're the day after Christmas. And honestly, like this is the best way to end the holiday season, sitting here talking to you. And I'm not just saying that because we're on the show. I'm saying that because you're one of my dear friends. You know that.
Same. You're a blessing. 2023 brought me. I know we started in 2022, but I feel like this year really we got close. Yeah. And no, you're in my circle. Like I actually consider you in my circle.
I'm in the circle of trust. I made it, guys.
Yeah, it's just you, my other best friend in Roman. So
I love that. By the way, I have to give you credit, which I always like to do on the show. But I saw a video of you yesterday, and I dropped my phone laughing. You were showing some new shoes that you got.
I was drunk, Joey.
Lisa, that's viral content. Like if you're thinking about a new video for TikTok, that right there.
Okay, you know what? I don't have something for TikTok today. I will get on that as soon as we're done here.
That was because I didn't know what was gonna happen when you turned those shoes around, and then by the way, cool freaking shoes, but like. Right. This the way you did it, and you're like, you don't know what I'm talking about because you can't afford them.
Shoes. Can't afford them. I mean, it's the truth. I'm so evil. Yesterday, speaking of like year traditions and all that, it was really funny because after Christmas, obviously, everybody like starts going home or what are we gonna do? My mom, she's feeling better, so she wanted to go to the casino. And I was like, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna go to the casino with you guys. I'm gonna go home and spend my Christmas with Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny does a live Instagram every album release. It's a tradition, okay? And we in Puerto Rico, we dress up for this live. We pour some drinks and we're ready to party. He just listens to his own album, literally sings the songs on the live with you, and it's like a party. So by the time I went live for my Raw stream, I was already drunk from the Bad Bunny stream. So I had a great time yesterday. The stream is unpublished. If you weren't there, you missed it.
I don't know. I'm having a hard time paying attention to you right now because our friend Dylan in the chat just dropped the funniest thing I've seen.
Oh my God, no way.
Dylan, my shirt is my hoodie is not even a hoodie. It's like a turtleneck thing.
Yeah, you look like Christian Cage. I love it. You're giving me Christian Cage vibe.
Oh, wow. No kids here. Promise.
No. No daddy.
But it's turquoise. It's turquoise.
Yeah.
Not green.
Green.
But thank you, Dylan. I appreciate that popped me.
No, we're not drunk right now, Ricky, by the way. I'm drinking Fiji. I'm eating blackberries. We're on full recovery mode today. I had to be up.
I'm drinking coffee right now.
I love your mug. I look I went and got my eyebrows and my lash. I'm surprised I made my appointment. Like I'm surprised how I actually was able to get up and function. But I went and got my lashes, so I'm a good girl today. No drinking today. We did a lot of that last night.
I get, and then you have New Year's coming up, so like
I have no plans for New Year's, Joey. What's wrong with me?
Oh, I'm going out. I got my tickets today. Let me tell you, New York City.
Oh God, I don't know. You better not be going to New York City. I used to work, and I used to need to be out of the city by like 1 p.m. at the latest. I didn't want to be anywhere near New York City on New Year's Eve.
New York City, New Year's Eve is a scam.
Yeah, 1,000%.
But I bought into that scam this year. I'm going out in the city this year.
Why? Well, you know what?
I never do it. I
have a friend that is lucky enough to have an apartment with the ball view. So that was the best year. Oh my God, we partied. We saw it from inside. Like, oh, it was beautiful. We were drunk. Like now, if you have a place to go that has a view, It's beautiful. But standing in Times Square, I would never. And I always tell people now.
I did it one time.
Oh no, I never did, and I don't.
No, we didn't stay to the end.
Yeah, because.
So you tell your story, and I'll tell that.
No, I was just gonna say, for those who need to know, like, one of the best New Year's Eve I ever had was in Vegas. If you're gonna like endure the cold and be outside, I would rather do it in Vegas. They close the strip, so no cars can go by. Everybody's just walking. As long as your drink is in a plastic cup, you can drink on the strip. I was in front of the Bellagio fountains at midnight, and then there's fireworks off of every hotel rooftop. Like, it was actually beautiful. So if you had to like sit outside in the cold, I would take Vegas. It's not as cold as New York, and it's just so much more fun.
I came to visit New York City with my family because we used to live here, so we used to come back here for the holidays to see family. And I think it may have been almost 10 years ago. I think 10 years. It was 2014. Almost
that is 10 years ago. Yeah.
Wow, time is flying. Yeah. So we decided we're gonna go out and do Times Square. That was one thing on my bucket list. I wanted to be out there for the ball to drop whenever in Times Square, New York City. We got out there at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. It was, you know how Times Square is. It's covered by buildings, so you don't have any sunlight. It's dark already. It's cold, and it was like 30 in the 20s. Low 30s out there.
I know for me, dog.
So what they do to me, it's not safe, but this is how they do it. They section people off with those metal barricades, and you're not just there standing. They barricade you in sections. So if you're in a section, you can't leave and come back. You're there.
No, you better bring some snacks. You better bring a cup to pee. Like, I'm telling you, I know you said you got there at noon. When I worked in the city, my goal was always to be out of the city by 1 p.m. at the latest. If I could leave by noon, I would, because that's when people will start arriving and they will start closing everything off. And if I could work from home, or like my team that will have a commute that were coming from like the boroughs, I wouldn't, because they close like the major subway station, close after a certain time. So I always had a way home. So I always like work so that they could just do it from home, because it's a pain in the butt. It's so overrated. And I just don't feel like until you live there, you don't understand it. But I wish you luck in your New Year's. I forgot about New Year's until the girl that did my lashes today was like, okay, she did the stupid "we'll see you next year" joke. And I was like, New Year's Eve is coming up. I'm like, I have no plans.
Yeah, people were wearing adult diapers because they have to be out there the whole day. And we got till around 9:30 p.m. We were out there until standing. And throughout that time, my sister was like, I don't want to be here. And my mom was like, it's too cold.
I'm not having fun.
They left, and I kept my dad with me until my dad was like, Joe, what are we doing here? So then it ended up working out for me. So around and most people don't know this, around 8 or 9 o'clock, they do the fireworks in Times Square, as a practice run. And I got pictures of that, and I've never said anything, but I posted them as if I was there.
You scared. He catfishes fireworks pictures. What the heck?
I needed that Instagram post, but you know what? I was there. I saw fireworks.
You were there.
But we left around.
Roman is so disappointed, and you look how he's looking at you.
10 years almost to the date. My bad.
Wow, Joey. Well, at least you came clean. The important thing is that you confess. And today, I want to talk about the ball drop from Puerto Rico. Yeah, that's happening. It's really funny because the Puerto Rico New Year's Eve show happens at this place that we call Distrito T-Mobile. It's a lot of fun. And it's funny because that is one of my favorite places to go. Like, Joey, whenever we plan your trip, we're going to end up at Distrito at least 1 or 2 nights.
Hell yeah.
But like, my friend was like, oh, I'm going to Distrito. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I'll meet you there, blah, blah. And then he was like, on New Year's Eve. And I'm like, oh, no. That will be the one night of the year that you will not catch me anywhere near that place. Now, I think that as a dog mom, and here in Puerto Rico, we do our fireworks. The 4th of July, Puerto Rico is New Year's Eve. So I'm very used to never having plans that day because I don't like leaving Roman alone. But I live now in an even more city-like area. So I was actually just telling my mom, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to have to either get an Airbnb or go to a hotel high up that he can't hear that. Because here, you know how you can hear everything from outside? I was like, he's going to go crazy. So I was actually thinking of just getting away to a nice quiet place with Roman for New Year's Eve,
that.
just because I'm not gonna leave him. And if I know I could take him with me, but he's gonna be just as anxious, and then seeing people is gonna make it worse. So we'll see what we end up doing. But I definitely don't think that staying in my apartment. Last year, I had the other apartment, which was a little bit in a more quieter area. Here, I think he's going to go crazy because I hear everything that happens outside. So, yeah, but anyways, New Year's Eve, dog parents problems, okay? Everybody that has a puppy knows how it is.
Well, if you're just tuning into TLR and you're in the chat, well, one, we appreciate you being here the day after Christmas. Usually a crazy day, crazy travel day. And if you're off and you're spending time with us, we appreciate you. And if you haven't yet, smash the big subscribe button down below. You can stay up to date to see our show every week, Tuesdays, 3 p.m., live, because we are live every Tuesday. This is not improv. Pretty much is improv. You know,
it is improv. We don't structure the show.
We don't. Yeah, we go. That red light starts and we go because we're professionals and we know what we're doing. Right, Isa?
Damn right. Sure. Sure.
But if you're here with us today, again, we appreciate you. And this show really has no headlines. We are just going to be discussing the year of 2023, what we thought were the most wackiest or most memorable moments of the year, headlines of the year, some things that happened this year that really stood out the most to us. And if you're in the chat, which we always have an amazing chat, let us know what your biggest headlines were that you thought for the year of 2023. Let us know what you thought was the dumbest, wackiest, weirdest headline you saw come across either this show or in general. In the chat.
I'll start with that, Joe. If I had to ask you, 2023, is there one person, especially because we do this every week, is there one person or one topic that stood out to you the most or that you feel we talked about the most? Or if you had to put 2023 into one headline, what would it be?
I'll do this. I'll do kind of everything of what you just said. If I had one word to sum up this year, it would be next. I'm done with this.
Hasn't every year felt that way since 2020 though? Like it doesn't feel like we're improving ever since that pandemic.
I don't know. I had a horrible 2021. 2022 was transition. 2023 was worse than I was like, all right, we're done with this. We're starting 2024 in a positive, fun, loving way. But yeah, what you said, what comes to mind when I think of 2023? Like there are a few people that in my mind have been in the headlines, whether the top of the headlines or somewhere in the headlines throughout the whole year. We kind of started off with like Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. They were like the whole year. They were just a top.
They were doing something, yeah.
Always something. Like they had the book and then the Netflix and then this and that and the other thing. Honestly, I don't care about them. Another person that was constantly in the news was Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift is one of mine. That would have been a name I would have brought up.
The Eras Tour, you know, being what it is and what it became, and then a movie and all this stuff, and then dating all these people. She dated like a few big names this year.
Yeah.
And then also Kanye West, because Kanye came out with an apology. Did you see what he did today?
Yeah.
Came out with an apology just because he's come out with an album. I think that's whatever. But those are the names to me that stood out the most, that were the most consistent this year.
Okay. Well, if I had to sum up 2023, my word would be WTF.
I like that.
My people, I'm with you on Taylor Swift. Yeah. I would add Elon Musk. There was like, for some reason, I feel like Elon was in the news all year long, especially with the Twitter mess and all that. And Beyonce. I think Beyonce. But those are my own bias. Bias will be Bad Bunny because I do think we talked about Bad Bunny a lot.
He's runner-up.
Yeah, but definitely like the whole mess with Twitter, I think like really took out a big chunk of time. Like first he bought it, then other things happened, then SpaceX, then also turning it into X. Like there's been like the downfall. Remember that day that everybody was like tweeting out their goodbyes to Twitter because it was like, did you do it? Because I didn't do it. As a matter of fact, I didn't even find out that Twitter was gonna go down to the next day. So I was like, wow, I could have lost my Twitter and not even realize.
Yeah. Remember, everyone was like, oh, bye Twitter. I'll see you on Instagram Threads.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's in the thing. I sent you.
Or that Be Real app.
I sent you a video of this YouTuber that did a recap, and he was like, 2023 was a mess. And he was like, remember when we all thought Threads was gonna be a thing? Like every once in a while, did you see what Instagram did now? When you go to share to your story, they changed that to Threads.
Yes, and I click it every time.
Oh my god, me too. The other day I threaded out like a bunch of things because I just like at this point I just click it and move on. Like I'm like, how dare they do this to us?
What was that app that came out when Twitter was transitioning to X?
Oh my god, it was something with a B. It was something with a B.
It wasn't Be Real. It wasn't Threads.
No. It was like a honey bee something or.
It was a weird thing that I did for a week.
The Hive. Yep. Yeah. I still have it. It's on the the little cloud like when your phone uninstalls it because you never use it. Hive was doing good. Hive was doing good. The problem with Hive is that they had this major update they had to do that shut it down for like 2 weeks and people forgot about it. Yeah. That's like what I always tell people. Like it's funny you bring that up because that's why I tell people if you want to be a content creator, like for a living, for example, that's what happens when you stop posting. People will forget about you. You had to stay consistent. But yeah, it was Hive. Britney Spears had a crazy 2023 as well. Yeah. But for me, the Britney headline of the year, I'm gonna give it to the book. Yeah, the book like had a lot of tea. We were all waiting for it. Like the book definitely will be my Britney headline of the year.
Yeah, I will say this: looking at all the celebrities, not only the ones that we talked about on the show all year, but just in general, I think the MVP of this year is Bad Bunny, and I'm not saying that because it's your guy. If you look at the year he's had, the album, right? All the awards that he's been able to win.
Did you see that Spotify said he's the biggest most streamed album of 2023 was the album he dropped last year. Like that album's still that freaking popular. His Backlash was everything. He dated a Kardashian. He can scratch that off his bucket list.
Just had a really great year.
Yeah. The other day, he was here in Puerto Rico. He spent the day giving gifts away to the kids. It's a
on the horse, right? I saw a video of him on the horse.
Oh, well, he was filming a music video. He's been here for a couple of weeks. But after he did the gift giving, which he does every year, he went to one of the biggest public housing complex and did a free concert just because. I'm like, this guy's crazy. Yeah. Yesterday, he did the live. Like, it feels like we got him back. Maybe he was under a weird Kardashian spell because he's acting more like Bad Bunny now.
Yeah, well, he wasn't invited to the Kardashian.
Remember when he kissed a guy?
Did he?
When Bad Bunny kissed his dancer, it was when I don't know
the Yankee Stadium thing, right?
Yeah, and everybody was like, "Oh my god, that might have been last year." You know what? I feel like the time is going by so fast that I keep on confusing my years. Like I don't know what year what happened. Does that happen to you too?
Yes. It's crazy. I'm telling you, this year went by so fast. Like, it was just my birthday. Like, I recall this year, I wasn't on this show for my birthday, and you did the show with Sean. Mm-hmm. And I was away.
Wow, that feels forever ago for me. And you're saying it feels like it was yesterday for you.
Well, because I went to Canada for my birthday, and I feel like I was just there.
That's right. We're going to throw a birthday party for us in Florida.
We are.
Even if it's just us invited.
I'm cool with it. Oh, man. It's Capricorn season.
Capricorn season, baby. But January Capricorns are better. Remember the aliens in Las Vegas? That one was fun. Remember when everybody was tweeting that people saw aliens in Vegas?
Or how about the I have a list here of stuff that...
Me too. Let me pull it up. Hold on. Oh, my God. The big red boots.
The big red boots, and then we saw what Seth was wearing those. Remember the Chinese balloon that
Oh my god, yeah.
Everyone's like, China's watching. And then Biden came out and he said it was something, and it was
how about I'm not gonna do the Twitter goodbye, but remember when everybody thought they were gonna like ban TikTok from the United States?
Yeah.
And everybody was
like,
freaking out.
Don't follow me on Instagram and YouTube.
Yeah. That's what's gonna happen though, because remember when Vine like stopped being cool, they all just migrated to YouTube. They took our jobs.
It's crazy that as content creators, we're working for ourselves, but we're not, because the platforms control our job. You know, if TikTok closes down tomorrow, people are out of a job. If YouTube closes down, we're not doing this show.
I mean, we could do it on other platforms, but it's not the same.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, like people don't know. Like, it depends a lot on these platforms. But YouTube can't go away. YouTube is too popular. It's too big, and now that it's working
never
so
going
many
away.
advertising.
And we love you, YouTube, and we appreciate you allowing us to be on this platform safely and securely. And there's the hearts.
Okay. Best pregnancy announcement of the year. The nominees are, I only got 2. The nominees are Kourtney Kardashian or Rihanna at the Super Bowl. Those are good ones. That Travis had pregnant sign. Come on,
Rihanna.
Did you see that recently? She said it wasn't meant to be like a pregnancy reveal, but her thing wouldn't zip up. Like her belly was so big that her outfit wouldn't zip up. So she was like, "Oh, I guess this is how we're gonna do it."
Rihanna,
I don't believe that.
I don't believe that either. But her performing for the first time in how long was like a big enough headline as it is. So that the pregnancy thing, like they didn't want, in my opinion, they didn't want to like topple all these headlines of her. Let it just organically happen, and which it did.
But the Travis I'm pregnant, Kourtney, it was cute.
It was cute, but she already had been pregnant for a while already.
Yeah, the belly was out there.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Dylan bringing up the freaking submarine that took
was
over
on my
the
list
world
too.
For like, oh my God, forever.
That was on my
I
list. I
always think of like the things that I remember going to TikTok and would show up on my For You page, whether you wanted to see it or not. Yeah. This submarine was everywhere for the longest time.
Yeah.
Like that was crazy.
Another big thing this year was again, one of the MVPs, I would say, of the year, AI and ChatGPT.
Oh my God.
AI kind of taking over the world, you know?
Yeah.
Taking jobs away and taking stuff away and helping kids get through school.
I have such like weird mixed feelings about it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, I don't know if I like it. There's certain things about it that I like, but then I see like,
it has its advantages, but
yeah, but then you see like these content farms on YouTube, like taking over real creators. And I'm personally somebody that I get invested into a channel because of the creator. I have to like you. You have to be able to tell a story. Like I go into this channel sometimes for research. If I'm researching a topic, it's good, but I need somebody to tell a good story and kind of like add their, like, even if you're reading a script, if you have a personality, it's a lot better. Like these content farm channels are insane. And what they're doing now is they're having AI create their script and they read it so that way it seems more personable, but you can just tell when they're reading a freaking script. Like it's so bad.
We had the SAG strike. I know Ricky just wrote it in the chat.
It was the year of the strikes. There were so many strikes this year.
Right. Honestly, for me, and maybe it's me being biased, but for me, the biggest headline of the year was WWE's sale to TKO. Creating
that was a big one.
That to me was like my holy S moment of the year. You know what I mean? Like I was like, "Oh, wow.
Everybody was
happened. We did it. Vince did it."
Because I remember when they were purchased UFC, like people were like, "Holy crap!" And for them to just bring these two like beasts, and I remember how much people used to compare UFC to WWE. So to think that now they're under the same management, like it's crazy, you know? Yeah.
Dana White did a video the other day doing a giveaway for the holidays. And he's like, I'm giving away WrestleMania 40 tickets, one of the biggest things. And I was like, he's putting over WrestleMania, giving, like, it was great.
Remember when Dana White slapped his wife on a video? That was a headline this year. I think we talked about it. I think we might have talked about it.
Yeah. We'll kind of jump around on the show for those in the chat and watching. 2023, I thought was a pretty interesting stat. The hottest year on record ever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know you got.
I believe it. I believe it.
I had a sunny 50-degree weather Christmas yesterday. I've never had that.
I heard that you guys were having quite a warm Christmas.
I went out for a hike in the morning. I went hiking on Christmas.
Yeah. And you found your little, was it the sunflower?
That to me was crazy.
I saw that on your story. I thought it was sweet.
That was her thing. She was obsessed with sunflowers. Her memorial was all sunflowers.
I lost a very close friend as well a few years ago, and he he was a drag queen, but because he was older, he performed very particular songs that just not everybody listens to. And I
Yeah.
always feel like every time that it's not a song that you will
Uh-huh.
randomly just hear everywhere, right? Like these are like songs from like the 70s and the
It's a
60s, you
memory
know?
that you have.
Right. So every time that if I go somewhere and I randomly hear one of those songs, I always assume it's Bradley saying hello because I'm like, you just don't
It
hear
is
this
though.
by. Yeah, it is. It
Yeah.
is. Like we had, I used to call him, fun fact, I used to call him mother. But it's like, it's those moments like will really like stop you in your tracks when that
Yep.
happens because you know it's like a little bit of a I have a couple of stories about him, but yeah, like
Yeah.
every time I get where you're
I get
coming
it.
from. That's why I love that because I there's certain songs that I'm like nobody listens to this like nowadays. You know, and when I hear it, I'm like, oh Bradley, I miss you too, and you just keep going. You know, but it kind of makes your day.
And what was crazy for me is later in the day, her sister messaged me on Facebook and was like, "Hey, just wanted to, reach out and say Merry Christmas and that, I'm missing Rachel a little extra today." Like, of course, it's her sister.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "She's with you, and I know she's with you because she was with me earlier today." And I sent
Yeah.
her the picture, and she was like, "Wow, like, right, like when you need those things, you get those signs."
I am such a believer in signs. Like I
Yep.
believe in signs more than anything. I'm like, look for them. Life will give you signs. Sometimes when you're stuck in a decision or whatever, like really pay attention to the signs. I know it has nothing to do with, but I just had to tell you when
Yeah.
back to the hottest year, you had a 50-degree Christmas. I told you, I grew up in Puerto Rico and I lived in Puerto Rico 19 years before I left for the States. I
Yeah.
never remember it being as hot as it felt this year. Like we were miserable. Like I think we recorded 120 degrees one year, like one day this summer. Like I grew up here and I was like, no, it was hot. It's Puerto Rico, it's the Caribbean, but not like what I experienced this summer. Like I grew up without. I'll put it this way: I grew up without AC, and it wasn't like a necessity. Now it's a necessity in
Yeah.
homes. Like there is no surviving a summer in Puerto Rico without it. And
Yeah.
that to me was like because I lived the majority of my adult life in the States, right? I come back and I'm like, all the apartment shopping I did and all
Yeah.
that. And I'm like, it doesn't have AC, but that's okay. I'll install one later. Like I'm just sitting here thinking I grew up without it. Like, yeah, no, not anymore.
I get it. I get
Now
it.
I'm gonna install one for my streaming room now that they're not on high demand because the temperatures went down, so it's not
Yep.
gonna cut that one in that room. I should have never paid that much for that. But remember, I got it in the middle of the
Yep.
summer, like, and I was like, no, you need to install it tomorrow. It was a crazy hot year, and it wasn't just. It was everywhere. It was in New York. It was in Puerto Rico. It was
Yep.
everywhere.
Yeah. Hopefully, I love heat, but not like that. Like
No.
yesterday was beautiful. Like I loved hiking on Christmas. I've never done that here.
Yeah,
Crazy.
I can't deal with 50. I am very bad with the in between. I need it to be hot or
Cool.
cold. That in between weather kills me. I'm too Puerto Rican for that.
You know what I realized also about this year, 2023?
Mm-hmm.
Very nostalgic year. A lot of things, and I'll elaborate. We had a lot of things from the 90s come up, like recreate
Barbie.
history. We had Barbie, we had Mario, the new
Yeah.
Mario movie. Even the fashion, a lot of 90s style fashion came back this year, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then if you also look at the music side, to be honest with you, I think pop music really made a comeback this year, like genuine pop. If you look at like someone like Tate McKay, who she's all over TikTok, like pop music that I remember hearing that style growing up in the 90s, like that Britney, Christina Aguilera, like that kind of pop music, I feel like is coming back a little bit.
But with you bringing music up, I still find it quite amazing that the girls that are still running the world are Taylor Swift and Beyonce, who have been around for quite some time now.
I will also say this too.
Beyonce and
2023,
Taylor Swift ran the world this year.
2023 year of the woman. Like y'all
Yeah.
killed it. You guys did everything. Every industry, everything. A woman was on top every single time. It's actually pretty incredible to see. Like
It is. It is.
crazy.
It's amazing to see it, and like I talk about it a lot. Not to go
Yeah,
back to wrestling, but like I tell people, like I
it's
wasn't into
powerful.
wrestling, into women wrestling when I grew up, because it was just pretty girls modeling, and they weren't letting them be badass like the guys, you know. And it was like I had a hard time. Like I can't talk to you about wrestling back in the day because I actually didn't. I remember going to NXT when Bailey and Sasha had their first match in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, oh, so this is how the women are doing it now. And that's when I got into it. And last night, the Best of Raw showed that Charlotte versus Rhea match at WrestleMania. And it was just like, it was so hard hitting. Like, I love the fact that I always tell people that I'm like, listen, I don't have anything against models or this and that, but if you're gonna watch wrestling, I want to see women be beautiful but be badass too. And there was so many badasses this year, like just killing it everywhere. So shout out to the girls running the world.
Hell yeah! I mean, you see like women becoming billionaires this year, like from their own creations. You see, I think what Kim did it this year. Did she, or was that last year?
It was this year with the Skims. Like I think after she did the Skims deal, was it with NFL? I can't remember. She did a huge Skims deal, and that put her into that line.
Just crazy the amount of like powerful things happen for women this year. It's awesome to see.
I love that you're such a good supporter of that, because there's some guys that don't like that. You'd be surprised.
I think it's a masculinity thing. Like for me, I don't give a shit. Like, I just, you know what I mean? If you are the best in your field and you're doing it, you know, whatever, like man, woman, child, I don't care.
Well, you know, I told you this a million times. The cake is big everywhere. Like we can all slice it and share it. So I'm always pro anybody that is thriving because of the right reasons and because they're busting their butts. Like I'm always going to be a cheerleader for those people, regardless of what gender they are. But of course, as a woman, it always like you always see that, and it just makes you proud, because back in the day that wouldn't be a thing.
Yeah. Another thing about this year too, I feel like it was really the year of the influencer. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people like becoming influencers
or trying to.
I would say trying, but like it's overly saturated, I would say. But there's money to be made. People are finding
I think that I don't know how to describe it, because I feel like some people are in it for the wrong reasons, and some people can actually be influential without realizing how influential they are. But again, it's a big pie. You just gotta find your niche. And we talked about this recently, like how this like fame is crazy, because somebody could be super famous or known in one field and go out and nobody know who they are, but they have freaking millions of followers because they do this, right? But people, like, it's crazy how the influencer has really changed the way things are marketed.
Yeah. Companies are not going to marketing agencies anymore, or I mean they are, but they're doing it less. They're not going to these agencies to do their marketing. They're paying influencers and public figures that are in that influential industry to promote their products, to promote their company, to promote their whatever, you know? So it's changing drastically, and it's changing very quickly. This year we saw that transition snap of a finger.
Right.
Yeah.
Agreed.
But
oh my God, you know who else was in the news this year that we haven't talked about? Jada Pinkett Smith.
That was on my list and I tried to avoid it.
Yeah, same. I know. But we had
just
to
like she tried to avoid her divorce. So
God. She was everywhere.
Yeah. I can't stand her.
Same. But she was everywhere.
She's just like everywhere crying, like, I don't know how to love, but I won't get divorced. Here's my book. Buy my book.
Hear me out. Another thing that this year would like kind of like stick with me is the downfall of like superheroes and Marvel movies.
Yeah, that too. And I'll tell you why. I not why, but like I'll tell you, like I feel like again, it was pushed on us for so long and so many different things. It got overwhelming and confusing for people. And then
I don't want to say that it was pushed. I will say that it was it was done right for the right reasons. And then
Yeah.
they realized they were telling good stories, and then they realized, oh my God, look at how much money there is to be made from this. And then they realized that end game, it will literally be the end game, and they will try to figure out how do we keep it going. And the new phase is just not working. They're pumping out movies too fast. There's characters that I'm like, I never even heard of this hero. Why are they in the movie theater? Like, why do they have a movie?
I get it. And I feel like, well, I would hope in 2023, 2024, the movies that we see come out are like original. Like, I feel like, I said 2023 was the nostalgic year. The downside to that is they're like remaking and they're trying to redo all these things that, like, why would you leave it alone?
I told you how I feel about the Batman showing up on the Flash. After I watched Spider-Man, I was like, I don't need all the Batman showing up in the Flash. After it worked for Spider-Man, but now they did it over here, and it's just like, no, now you're just trying to get my money just so that I get my cameo from, because I've paid money for Tobey Maguire as Spidey again. That's my Spider-Man. Damn it.
I get it. I agree with you.
Another downfall is Netflix. Netflix really took a downfall this year. Like, I think they went crazy with the original content and the original where like it feels like you're watching the same movie over and over again with their original movies now.
Yeah, I'm not really a fan of what I've been seeing this year on Netflix. To be honest with you, I have a feeling it has to do with the strike, because like I can't even say like any new shows that I enjoyed this year. Like,
right.
Like, or like, I don't know.
I see what you're saying. That's a good point.
Entertainment industry this year kind of took a back seat because of that. But I don't know. It was a very weird year,
especially for entertainment.
Yeah, very weird.
I mean, we're seeing The Rock hug trees on TV commercials now.
Yeah, and then I'm seeing John Cena work out with a trash bag and then do a Ford commercial and then get squashed by Solo Sikoa all in the same span of a month. So, I mean, anything is possible.
Another MVP of 2023 is Northwest. God, do we love talking about North.
You know what? I wouldn't label her as an MVP. I would label her as the number one prospect for the new year. Like the number.
I like that.
She will be the MVP next year. Like she's on the come up.
Yeah, she is. I like that.
Yeah.
We talked about her a lot with her TikToks and all the mess and her
personality and just.
I will say somebody that took a step back this year will probably be Kim Kardashian. I feel like we barely mentioned her, and all the mentions of her were like positive. Like we didn't really have anything much negative to say about her this year.
But you know what?
She's really being very low key.
It's very strategic, and which is what I was trying to get to with like the Marvel movies. Like there was so much all at once, like you oversaturate, and then it becomes uninteresting. So,
but I think it's also for the new generation.
The Kardashians tend to do this.
I think Kylie and Kendall. Yeah, Kylie and Kendall were in the headlines way more than any of the. Well, except for Karni. Karni had a wild year. But I feel like now they're just like, you guys do it. We did it we carried the family for this long. We're going to enjoy the wealth. They're still super mega famous. They can be in the headlines like this anytime they want. But I feel like we have moved on from talking about Kim, Karni, and Khloe. And now we talk about Kylie and Kendall. And North is the prospect, like you said.
We talked about it a while back, actually, when we started talking about a lot of the Kardashians this year. We said how Kourtney kind of switched the role with Kim, where Kim became like the down-to-earth mom at home, like just hanging out of the news. And Kourtney's like the superstar and in the headlines doing all this stuff everywhere. Like they switched business plans this year.
Right.
And then, but I also think too, because I've seen it. So I watched their show. It's a guilty pleasure. I watched the show on Hulu. And they talk a little bit about how they know that they're getting older and there's certain things that they don't want their image to be, which is why Kim's trying to go the lawyer route. And, they're doing their own businesses and trying to, have a life outside of what we know them for.
Right.
So I think this year was really that transition where we saw Khloe kind of digging, because, Kourtney Khloe had another baby. and going into mom mode, something that she really didn't get to do before, and figure out what she wants at home. Same thing with Kim, I guess, because we saw Kim with Pete Davidson and all these things. So like, it's a
I
transition.
never understood that relationship for her.
PR.
It never made any sense. I know. I still think that Kendall and Bad Bunny started that way. I do think they liked each other, but I don't think it was ever serious. And that's what I always tell people. And people were like, "You're just saying that because Bad Bunny." And I'm like, I really saw them as two people that enjoy each other's companies and enjoy hanging out. Like, people have so many issues. Like, why do people want to define everybody else's relationship? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, if you look back to like the Kim Kardashian thing and Pete Davidson, they met on SNL, started dating, and then he left SNL, went and made some movies, came back to host SNL. Like, clearly you could see that like him being associated with her skyrocketed his value and his stock. He went in the same year, went from being a cast member of SNL to the host of SNL, or a host. And
shout out to Bad Bunny. He says an old episode was mostly in Spanish, and that made me so happy.
Yeah. And MVP this year. The guy did everything. He was everywhere and did everything.
You know, I was listening to the album, and it's really funny because on his new album, he like has a line that he just quietly throws in one of his songs that he's like, "Oh yeah, and I was in a movie. You can ask Brad Pitt about it." And I was like, I forgot that this guy even acted with Brad Pitt like not that long ago, because he's done so much that it's actually hard to like keep track of like his accomplishments. And I'm like listening to the album and he says that, and I'm like, I forgot about Bullet Train. He was in a movie with Brad Pitt. Like, he did it all.
I'm telling you, MVP.
Took over the world.
Took over the world. And wasn't he supposed to have like a hibernation? Was he supposed to go like
he did. Hiding? He already went through it. Now in February he's going back on tour. That's what this like few months were. He released the album in October. He was still in the hibernation. You saw him everywhere. He hosted SNL during it. He did, but he's been quite quiet. But now in February he's starting his tour of the United States, and then we'll see. But that one's going to be a couple of months. Now, he did say that his new tour is going to be all the new album, all rap. He's not going to sing his lovey-dovey past songs, and I'm excited for it. I'm hoping to see him a couple of times in this tour.
Yeah, I have any specific or any predictions you have for 2024? Like any big Hollywood things you see happening, or like an artist blowing up, or like a fashion trend you see on the rise going to be the pop off next year?
Okay, I think that because I feel like it's already happening, I feel like the BBL era of plastic surgery is going away. I'm starting to see more people being critical towards that than embracing it. Like not even it's just that there's like a lot of people criticizing it, and I'm like, come on, like a few years ago you were forcing the celebrities into getting their butts done because that's what was trending. I think the BBL era of bodies that are made to look impossible will end. I like that one. Dylan says Travis and Taylor will get engaged. I don't think so.
That's one I just don't care about them. Like, I see her now and I'm just like, stop. Even him, he's getting unbearable too. He's like, get this COVID vaccine, buy this product. Like, every commercial is him. I'm like, I don't care. Go throw your ball.
Go throw your ball.
Like, just stay on the field and off my screen in the commercial. Like, leave it to John Cena. He does every commercial anyway.
Okay. So I think the BBL era will go away, and I think I'm trying to think, but I don't really have a lot of like thoughts. I think that if the Scream movie comes out, I don't think it's gonna be as big as the last one with the whole mess that they have going on. This last Scream, remember, came out last January. It's been almost a year, but it was crazy. Like, it did great numbers in the movie theater. I don't know that this one will.
I have a feeling that we're going to see, in regards to fashion, I think we're going to continue to see the rise of like that 90s, maybe even go back to a little bit of the 80s. We're seeing a lot of the leather and denim come back, which I don't mind. I love that stuff. I think we're going to see that in the fashion sense. Maybe like that monochrome type of feel.
You know what I appreciate though about today's, like maybe the new generation have taught us this and we all follow it. Back in the day, 80s, 90s, and even early 2000s, we all wore the same things. And now people are making their own fashion, and it doesn't matter if it's trending or not, if you know how to like accessorize it or this. I feel like we're really going more for individual fashion, and I'm a big
Yes.
fan of that, where
Yes.
everybody's just like incorporating their own style. And I absolutely love that, because I remember back in the day, it was like everybody would go and buy this pair of jeans because everybody was wearing them, or these shoes. Because and shoes would always be, especially sneakers, it would always be
Yeah.
a thing that you have to go and get. But I
Yep.
feel like now everybody can grab trending things, but still give them their own spin or their own
There's
thing that they
variety.
do. Yeah, and I absolutely love that. I am here for individuality. Like I hate it when we all look the same, and you force, like, it helps because not everybody can afford some of these trending things. And I
Yeah.
feel like going for more individual fashion, which we see in the latest years, allow kids that might not have those resources to still express themselves in a creative and artful and fashion way without having to go and buy these expensive things. So I'm a big fan
Yeah.
of that.
Another thing too, along those lines, well, what you just said, I think that has to be that's due to the influencer role, where people are like,
Right.
what we do. Every influencer tries to find their niche, so they switch their style around, and then they influence others to kind of find their individuality, and it's copy and paste in that
Yeah.
sense. But I also saw a lot of people buying less of name brand items and going more vintage,
Yeah.
right? Like kind of making their own, like what you said, their own style, but like instead of buying a Louis Vuitton leather jacket, they're going to a thrift store and they're finding this old 80s
Because
jacket.
it's so much cooler.
Yep. Less money being spent on the name brands and more effort being put into individuality.
Right. And I love that. And I love that for
Cheaper
everybody
too.
because,
Joseph just
yeah.
said it's cheaper.
Yeah, definitely a lot cheaper,
Yeah.
and it's just better because everybody should be able to just like rock their own style or do their own ways of wearing things. It doesn't mean that you're like, not trending, but it just means that it's more individual, and I just appreciate that more. Dylan in the chat mentioning Donald Trump. The only thing I remember about him in 2023 was his mugshot. It
Yeah.
was everywhere.
Let me ask you a question, because I really tried to stay away from the political stuff
Me
that we
too.
saw happen this year. Do you think that there is a chance? This is the only time I'll talk about him. Do you think there's a chance for Donald Trump to like rebrand his image
No,
and like kind of make a comeback for himself in some way?
no, unless he goes back to just staying away from politics.
Yeah. I don't know. I have a feeling that we're going to see a comeback in 2024.
For him?
No, just
Oh,
I don't know who, but I have
oh
a
yeah, like somebody like, okay, I like that.
So my original vision, I thought it was going to be Britney Spears. I thought she was going to have some comeback where all these things that were happening this year was just to set up for that comeback next year. Because we're seeing a lot of that, like we said, that 90s vibe come back, the style, the music, the looks, all that stuff. I wouldn't be mad about it. I mean, I would support it. But then again, we also have that Justin Timberlake comeback that he was planning. That could be a potential thing.
And Sync.
I don't think that's
And
happening.
Sync reunion tour. Come on.
I don't know. I just feel like there's some revival going to happen.
Yeah.
In entertainment. If it's Britney, if it's Justin Timberlake, if it's
Amanda Bynes.
Amanda Bynes, that was one of my choices. Everything that these celebrities do, there's strategy and intention behind it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For all we know, Nick Cannon will have another baby.
Oh, that's a guarantee.
How many times did we talk about that this year?
A lot of times.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we are seeing Creed, the band Creed, go back on tour. Which,
why?
Oh, I would buy tickets in a heartbeat. Go look Creed up on TikTok. That man.
I will not do that.
No,
because they'll start showing up in my algorithm, and I don't need that in my life.
That's true. That guy can. Scott Sapp can still sing.
Not interested.
Yeah.
Nick Cannon just got me pregnant.
No, I honestly think 2024 is going to be a great year.
Me too.
Yeah.
I like even numbers too, so.
I think like that too. And 8 is my lucky number, and there's something with the 8 happening. Yeah, Dylan said Nelly and Ashanti. They're having a baby.
They're having a baby.
Yeah.
He finally got it. Because I'm thinking like, man, I'm excited to.
It got too hot in 2023, so they took all the clothes off, and now they have a baby in the way.
Bye. It's perfect fun because we're just talking about it being the hottest year. Yep. So it makes all the sense.
I got a thumbs up from your background.
Yep.
I love it.
Oh my God.
Anything you want to add, Issa?
No, I'm scrolling through the one post that we kind of looked at before we went live, but I honestly think we talked about the main things.
Yeah.
Logan Paul had a year as well. We didn't talk about him, but we kind of brought him up a couple of times with everything with the crypto and then everything with his freaking animal mess that wasn't really his mess, but he got caught up in it. I am excited to see what 2024 has in store. And I just love that we do this show because pop culture is just a thing that never goes away. And it's like funny to reminisce because some of the things that we just talked about, it's like, wow, I forgot that we covered that. Like, and it's just been fun to see the people that we talk about the most and all that. But I'm hoping for a positive year. I'm hoping for reporting more positive, fun things and more wholesome things. But we'll see. I'm looking forward to the trends, the music, what goes viral, who goes what, we'll see what happens.
And we'll end this show on a positive note, on a personal note. So, Issa, I'll ask you the question and you can ask me back after.
Okay.
Do you have any personal goals you're looking forward to accomplishing or attempting in 2024? Is there anything at the top of your list that you're like, new year, this is what we're doing?
Me personally, for my own personal goals, I will be making cheap plug a wrestling bucket list for 2024 that I can go back and review at the end of the year and see how much we accomplished. But I don't know why that thumbs up keeps coming up. But me personally, I really want to work on my time management because I feel like sometimes I don't have enough hours and maybe there's a way that I can manage my time a little bit better. So my goal for 2024 is obviously to continue my growth. I have been very blessed to be able to work creating content not just for my own platforms but here Wrestling Inc., Lucha Libre Online, and I want to be able to still do that. Like to work for myself is a blessing, but it's a lot of work and it's a lot of responsibility, and I would love to just see the grow my community. My YouTube community is so much fun, and it's really has become something that I look forward to. It doesn't feel like a job, but I know that it is. But mostly like legitimately, I really would love to work on my time management. Like I talk to a lot of people, fun fact, and even sometimes when I interview some of the wrestlers and they talk about being creatures of habits, and I am not. I go to sleep whenever I finish. I wake up whenever I need to be up. And I really want to create a habit for myself, a normal routine in order to be able to manage my time better, in order to be able to meet all my deadlines. So that is my main goal this year, is to become a creature of habit, like force myself to go to sleep at a certain time, wake up at a certain time in order to
discipline
everything. Yeah, I need to. That's the key word. I feel like I'm consistent, I'm hardworking, but I don't know that I'm disciplined enough. And a lot of people see what I put out and they're like, yeah, you are. You go live every night, you do this every night. And I'm like, yeah, but I know that is the one thing that I could improve to be able to elevate it to the next level. So that is my personal goal, become more routine, more disciplined. What about you, Joey?
I think my biggest goal for the new year is to kind of turn the camera back on myself in a way. Learn, I don't know what the proper term is, focus more on self-worth and and valuing yourself.
Right.
Because all the things like what you just said, that comes down to how you see yourself, your self-worth, your value. To sum up discipline, the easiest way to say, people are always using these phrases for discipline. Your discipline comes down to how bad you want it. If you want it that bad, you'll be disciplined. If you want to, another goal off of that, get in better shape, get consistent with the gym, a healthier diet. That's all discipline. If I really want it, I'll wake up that extra hour early.
Just to
I'll
go to
make
the
it
gym.
to the
Yeah.
gym. I'll, instead of, stopping to get fries from McDonald's, I'll say no, save the money and save the carbs, go home and make a healthy snack or meal. It's all discipline.
The
And for
amount
me,
of money
like
I have
that's
saved.
your self-value,
Yeah, when I have my stomach issue, they put me on the more strict diet, which I
Yeah.
had tried to keep it because it does help with, how often I get like I don't feel well or whatever.
Yeah.
But I will tell you one thing: the amount of money that I have saved from just having the things that I can eat here, instead of like not only the stress of finding a restaurant that has something that my stomach can handle, but like even if I do pick up, because I live close to pretty much everything, you still spending so much money. Like I'm like I have saved a lot of money by just like forcing myself to eat.
Yeah.
And I found myself staying at the same weight. Like I know I don't really gain a lot of weight, but it's always
Yeah.
like there's always this 5 pounds that you're up and down, up and
Yeah.
down. No, I have stayed very steady for like the last few months. I was talking to my cousin about this, and she was very shocked that my goals were not numbers. And what I told her was like the numbers come if you stick to what you're saying you're going to do. If I tell you I'm gonna be more disciplined and I'm gonna start doing things, you will see that growth because I'm dedicating myself more to it. Like I'm not a big numbers. You have to be when
Yeah.
you do what we do, but I'm not a big numbers person when I'm creating goals. I create goals that I know will bring the growth and will bring
Yes.
those kind of that comes. It's a bonus that comes
Yeah.
from that.
Yeah. No, I agree. And like, I think for both of us, focusing on growing as a creator, getting better at our craft. I really want to work on collaborating more with people, because that is how you grow and you succeed. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. And I love that you say turning the camera on yourself because I literally just had a rant about AI and how there's these channels that are just not personable. So when you have somebody that people like your personality, you're very personal, you're funny. Like I think it makes a difference because people like me are out there looking for content creators that you just like. Like I'm not trying to see an AI. I might as well have Siri read me the article then. Like I don't want to see like I'm looking for that. So I think that's a great goal to have for yourself because I don't think
yeah,
you give yourself the credit that you should.
that's a big thing. Like me
Mm-hmm.
personally, I don't do that. Like I have a hard time with that. And I
Yeah.
think that like that's also the Capricorn in us. You know
That's a
what I mean?
Capricorn thing. We're workaholics and we don't need to hear what we have. Like I don't need anybody telling
Yeah.
me what we have accomplished. It's just like, okay, but we gotta keep going.
It's very hard for me to stop and smell the roses. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm always
Because
like, all
you're
right,
wasting time stopping when you can that's the way that I feel. It's like, why would I stop to smell the rose? I got things to do.
but then you know what happens? You get burnt out, and then your content is not as good as it should be. Your discipline is not as good as it should be. Your life ends up not being as good as it should be
Yeah.
because we burn ourselves out. And it's like you said, time management is a big part of that. I need to learn
Time
that.
management, discipline, routine, habit,
Yeah.
and another thing that I'm working on this week. Because I had this week off of Wrestling Inc. So
Yeah.
I'm kind of taking it easy with when I go live, trying to prepare for making these changes. And another thing that I know I have to work on and be a little bit better is being organized. I could be a lot more organized than what I am. I
Love
feel
that.
all over the place, and when things feel chaotic, you do run your life not chaotic when you know where everything is or when there's a time for everything. So a lot of my personal goals are really on me, but I think that if I'm able to accomplish that in 2024, then I'll be able, everything will come with it.
I think, and maybe that's me being arrogant. I don't know. I think in 2024, people are going to see both of our names highly ranked in our industry. I think that we're going to kill it.
2024, I agree. A goal for 2024 is getting Joey to come to Puerto Rico.
I will do that. You got WWE and Triple H to do it. You'll get me to do it.
I think we're gonna be great, and I love that we have each other's support system because I
Yes.
know sometimes we don't talk a lot, but if these are some of our main goals, I think it's a
Yeah.
matter of staying and becoming each other's cheerleaders. Because a lot of times having somebody that's trying to do the same thing that you are in a
Yeah.
whole different way, but that understands where you're coming from and like burn out, I don't want to post. Like a lot of times it really helps to have somebody to not only hold you accountable, but
Yeah.
also cheer you on and remind you that you are amazing.
You know what I love most about, especially what it likes what you're saying. Roman in the back likes what you're saying. I think the best thing, like to piggyback of what you just said, we support each other, we help each other. I come to you with ideas, you come to me with ideas. We are in the same industry. A lot of people would say we are competitors. We're not. We know our individuality. You have your things, I have my things, and there's no like there's no competitiveness. And I feel like, especially in our industry, it's hard to have those friends where they're not saying, oh, I wouldn't do that, and then they go do it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
we are genuine and we're real, and we genuinely support each other. And like, if you get success, great. If I get success, great. But at the end of the day, we're friends.
mm-hmm.
And that's what I love about our relationship. We're just
Me too.
Like, we're very, that's why we click, you know?
Yeah, and you sometimes you need that, because I
Yeah.
sometimes you get burned out. You think people are your friends, people are not your friends. They're just trying to like see what you're up to and all that. So it's like it's hard to find a genuine friendship. So I'm glad I found you, and in 2024 we will be each other's buddies and accountability
Absolutely.
people.
It's only up from here, Issa. That's what we're doing.
Yay!
2024. It's gonna be our year.
I like that year. I have a good feeling about it. Roman does too. You hear him?
Roman does too. He agrees. But no. Anything else you want to add before we wrap up?
No, I think Roman says it's time to call it a show.
Well, again, we appreciate you all for watching the show, being involved in the chat all year long. Always great positive vibes on this show, especially Issa, always bringing the energy and the positivity and the kindness to the show that we need to make a show like this successful. And just glad that we had the year that we had, and it's only up from here. Wish everybody a safe, happy, healthy, positive end to the holiday season, but also a good start to 2024. And Issa, you know I love you and appreciate you, and same goes to you.
I love you too, and I have to be the first one to make the lame joke because somebody made it to me, but we'll see you guys next year.
Yeah. We'll see you guys next year for episode 59. 59 of TLR. We'll see you guys next year, like Issa said. And stay happy, stay healthy. Peace. Bye.